Good morning, all of you. Welcome to Sri Jayendra Rank Zone. Today we're going to start new chapter that is redox reactions. This chapter is very important and very small chapter. So we are going to start now redox reactions. Let us start. Now, what are redox reactions? So redox reactions are those where simultaneously oxidation and reduction takes place. Let us see now what are redox reactions. The reaction which involves oxidation as well as reduction, and reduction is known as redox reaction. The reaction which involves The reaction which involve oxidation and reduction is known as redox reaction. Example, burning of fuels, formation of glucose by photosynthesis, depletion of ozone layer. So, burning of fuels is an example for redox reaction. Any organic compound, when burned in presence of air, it forms carbon dioxide and oxygen. For example, I'll show you. So, let us take an organic compound. Let us take methane. It's a natural gas. When burns in air, oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide and water. This is nothing but burning of fuels. So this is a redox reaction. How it is redox reaction, I'll explain you later on. Just example I'm giving. Formation of glucose by photosynthesis is also a redox reaction, and depletion of ozone layer. So that depletion of ozone layer is nothing but what? Greenhouse effect. It is also called as greenhouse effect, which leads to the global warming, to the formation of global warming. So global warming, greenhouse effect. So these are all the examples of redox reactions. Let us see in details what are redox reactions. So it is nothing but simultaneous oxidation and reduction. First, we'll conclude what is oxidation and what is reduction. Oxidation is a process which involves addition of oxygen to an element or a compound or removal of hydrogen atom. Addition of oxygen atom, generally addition of oxygen atom to an element or compound or removal of hydrogen atom from an element or compound. This is called oxidation. Reduction is a process which involves addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. Let us see, for example, here zinc on reaction with oxygen forms zinc oxide. For zinc, what is happening here? Addition of oxygen taking place, which results in the formation of zinc oxide. For sulfur, addition of oxygen takes place, which results in the formation of sulfur dioxide. So these are the two examples of oxidation. Now, let us see. This is called Haber's process of preparation of ammonia. Nitrogen combines with hydrogen atom. Sorry, nitrogen molecule combines hydrogen molecule to form ammonia. So here, for nitrogen, hydrogen is added. So that's why it is called reduction. Similarly, ethene. This is alkene. Ethene on hydrogenation form ethane. So this is also for ethene, addition of hydrogen takes place. So it is called reduction. So these are the basic examples. These are all the basic examples of oxidation and reduction. More about oxidation and reduction we'll see now, because these are not only the two. We have so many things for oxidation as well as for reduction. Let us see now oxidation and reduction. But there are reactions which do not involve. See, there are certain reactions which do not involve addition of or removal of oxygen or hydrogen, and still they are redox reactions. For example, here you can see magnesium on reaction with chlorine gas forms magnesium chloride, which is also called as oxidation. Sodium on reaction with chlorine gas will form sodium chloride, which is also an oxidation. Why these are called oxidation, I've discussed now. So silver oxide on heating forms silver and oxygen. For silver oxide, removal of silver taking place, so oxygen taking place. So it is nothing but silver plus oxygen reduction. Tin chloride, stannous chloride, it is called stannic chloride, SnCl4. On combination with tin, it forms stannous chloride. Stannous, this is stannic and this is stannous chloride. Or you can say plus 4 state and plus 2 state. Let us see what happens here now. So finally, what are the important definitions of oxidation? I'll tell you. Oxidation is a process broadly defined as the addition of oxygen atom. Listen carefully. All these are very important. Addition of oxygen or electronegative element like chlorine here. Example I have shown you. Mg plus Cl2 gives rise to MgCl2. In this, what happens? Addition of electronegative, because chlorine is negative. Since chlorine is negative, so addition of electro or addition of oxygen or addition of electronegative atom element to a substance or removal of hydrogen or electropositive element from the substance. These are all the nothing but oxidation. So any of these things taking place in a reaction is nothing but considered as oxidation. What are those things? Point number one, addition of oxygen or electronegative element. Point number two, removal of hydrogen or electropositive element from the substance. It is called as oxidation. Reduction. Reduction is defined as the addition of hydrogen or electropositive element, just reverse of oxidation. Or removal of oxygen or electronegative element from the substance is called as reduction. For example, in the silver oxide, what happens? Silver oxide on heating strongly forms what? Two atoms of silver plus oxygen gas. So it is nothing but what? So here 2. So it can be taken as 4H because balancing reaction is important. So here what happens from silver oxide, removal of oxygen taking place. So which is nothing but removal of oxygen or electronegative element from the substance is nothing but reduction. So totally we have 4 definitions for oxidation. First is addition of oxygen. Second is electronegative element. Third is removal of hydrogen. And fourth is electropositive element. So all the 4 are considered as oxidation. Similarly, reduction is defined as the addition of hydrogen or electropositive element to a substance or removal of oxygen or electronegative element from the substance. So these are all coming as reduction reactions. I hope it is clear now. Let us see further topic. So oxidation and reduction. Oxidation reaction is defined as half reaction that involves loss of electron by an element. Very, very important here. One more important definition. Loss of electron is also nothing but oxidation. And gaining of electrons is also called as reduction. So sodium atom forms sodium ion by losing 2 electrons. It is nothing but oxidation. Chlorine gas by gaining 2 electrons forms 2Cl minus. It is nothing but reduction. So apart from the definition in the previous slide I have shared you, oxidation is also defined as a half reaction that involves loss of electron by an element or gain of electrons by an element is also called as reduction, oxidation and reduction. So we have so many definitions for oxidation and reduction, and we need to see carefully whether oxidation takes place or reduction takes place. So on the whole, loss of electrons, because sodium is neutral here and it is forming sodium ion. So when does sodium will change to sodium ion? By losing an electron. Yes, 2 sodium atoms are there. So 2 sodium ions is forming. So for 1 sodium atom, 1 electron. For 2 sodium atoms, it should be 2 electrons. Similarly, chlorine molecule should gain 2 electrons to form 2Cl minus. So gaining of electrons is reduction and losing of electrons is oxidation. I hope it is clear. Now, the substance which gets oxidized during a redox reaction is known as reducing agent. See here, very, very important. Don't get confused in this. The substance which gets oxidized during a redox reaction is known as reducing agent. And the substance which get reduced during a redox reaction is called as oxidizing agent. For example, you can see here, 2Na plus Cl2 gives us 2Na plus and Cl minus. Here, sodium is getting what? Reduced. So sodium is getting oxidized. Sodium is getting oxidized because sodium atom changes to sodium ions. So it is getting oxidized. So the substance which get oxidized is called as reducing agent. So here sodium is called reducing agent. In the above reaction, sodium is called reducing agent. And chlorine is getting reduced because Cl2 changes to 2Cl minus by gaining of electrons. By gaining of electrons, only Cl2 can change to Cl minus ions. So by gaining of 2 electrons. So in the above reaction, as chlorine is gaining electrons, it is undergoing reduction. So the substance which gets reduced during a redox reaction is known as oxidizing agent. So chlorine is oxidizing agent. So on the whole, this is a redox reaction where simultaneous oxidation takes place for one substance and the reduction takes place for the other substance. So this is called a redox reaction. I hope it is clear now. So very, very important. So the substance which gets oxidized during a redox reaction is known as reducing agent, and the substance which gets reduced during a redox reaction is known as oxidizing agent. I hope it is clear now. Let us see some more examples. Now, identify the substance undergoing oxidation and reduction in the following reactions. So here first reaction is HBr plus Cl2 gives rise to HCl plus Br2. So hydrogen bromide and chlorine forms HCl and Br2. Magnesium plus bromine gives rise to magnesium bromide. So zinc oxide and carbon is called as zinc plus carbon monoxide. These are the 3 reactions. They are asking us identify a substance undergoing oxidation and reduction only. They are not asking us to find oxidizing agents, but still we'll do that also. Now HBr and Cl2, it forms HCl plus Br2. from hydrogen bromide. Hydrogen is removed from bromine. So it is nothing but what? Hydrogen bromide, since hydrogen bromide changes to Br2, we can say, since hydrogen bromide changes to Br2, removal of hydrogen atom. So bromine, hydrogen bromide undergoing oxidation. Hydrogen bromide undergoing oxidation. So here chlorine is undergoing reduction. Chlorine is undergoing reduction because for chlorine addition of hydrogen takes place. Since chlorine is changing to HCl, chlorine is changing to HCl. For chlorine addition of hydrogen takes place, so reduction. For hydrogen bromide, removal of hydrogen takes place, so it is changing to Br2. So it is called oxidation. So I hope first reaction is clear. Let us see second reaction. Magnesium plus bromine gives rise to magnesium bromide. So for magnesium changes to magnesium bromide, addition of electronegative radical. Just wait. Magnesium changes to MgBr2. MgBr2. So for magnesium, bromine is adding. So bromine is Br minus, addition of electronegative element. So addition of electronegative element, magnesium is undergoing oxidation. And similarly for bromine, magnesium is added, addition of electropositive element because magnesium is added. For bromine, what is added? Magnesium is added. Mg is plus 2. So Mg plus 2 means for electropositive element. It is nothing but what? Reduction. So for bromine, magnesium is added to form bromine is changing to magnesium bromide and magnesium is changing to magnesium bromide. So for bromine, magnesium is added. So we can call it as addition of electropositive element. So it is nothing but reduction. For magnesium, addition of electronegative element. So it is nothing but oxidation. Next, let us see third one. For zinc, zinc oxide changes to zinc. It means removal of what? Oxygen takes place. So it is nothing but a reduction. Nothing but what? Reduction. For carbon, addition of oxygen takes place. So it is nothing but oxidation. So I hope it is clear. So zinc is undergoing reduction. Zinc oxide is undergoing reduction and carbon is undergoing oxidation. We have to say the clear element. Zinc oxide is undergoing reduction and carbon is undergoing oxidation. So this is the answer. I hope it is clear. I'm clearing all the things. You can note down in your classwork. So HBr is oxidized and chlorine is reduced. Why? Because hydrogen bromide is changed to bromine. So removal of hydrogen takes place. So again, I'm writing here, you can just see hydrogen bromide is changing to bromine, means removal of hydrogen atom takes place. Removal of hydrogen. Removal of hydrogen. And for bromine and for chlorine, addition of hydrogen takes place. So this is called oxidation and this is called reduction because for chlorine, addition of hydrogen takes place. Similarly, magnesium is oxidized because Mg is changing to MgBr2 and bromine is also changing to MgBr2. So bromine is reduced, electropositive element, electronegative element. Zinc is reduced because zinc oxide is changed to zinc. Actually, it should not say zinc, it should say zinc oxide. Zinc oxide is reduced and carbon is oxidized. Carbon is oxidized. So I hope it is clear. Next question. So this is a basic idea about reduction. Identify the oxidizing and reducing agents in the following reactions. Very, very important. These type of questions are important. So, important question. Reducing agent and oxidizing agent should not be confused. Oxidizing agent and a reducing agent. What is the oxidizing agent and what is reducing agent? We'll discuss now. Cuprous oxide on reaction with carbon forms 2 copper plus CO2. So here, copper is undergoing. The substance which get oxidized is called reducing agent and the substance which get reduction is called oxidizing agent. So for copper oxide changes to copper means what? Removal of oxygen takes place. So it is undergoing reduction. So the substance which is undergoing reduction is called as oxidizing agent. So copper oxide is, in the first case, copper oxide is oxidizing agent. And second, copper is undergoing oxidation. So here carbon is called, sorry, the first example, copper oxide is oxidizing, comma, oxidizing agent, and the carbon is reducing agent. The answer for second option. Fe2O3 plus 2 aluminum gain changes to Al2O3 plus 2 Fe. So here Fe2O3, a mole of oxygen takes place. So iron oxide is undergoing oxidation reduction. So it is called iron oxide is undergoing reduction. So iron oxide is undergoing reduction. So it is called oxidizing agent. And aluminum is going oxidation. So it is called reducing agent. So aluminum, right, Fe2O3 oxidizing. The one which is undergoing reduction is called as oxidizing agent, and the one which is undergoing oxidation is called as reducing agent. Aluminum is reducing agent. So I hope it is clear. Same with third one. Hydrogen sulfide on reaction bromine forms hydrogen bromide and sulfur. So hydrogen sulfide changes to sulfur. It means removal of hydrogen takes place. Removal of hydrogen is oxidation. So hydrogen sulfide is undergoing oxidation and bromine is undergoing reduction. So here bromine is called, the one which is undergoing reduction is called as oxidizing agent. So bromine is oxidizing agent and hydrogen sulfide is reducing agent. Hydrogen sulfide is reducing agent because hydrogen sulfide changes to sulfur. The one which is undergoing oxidation is called as reducing agent, and the one which is undergoing reduction is called as oxidizing agent. So bromine is undergoing reduction because addition of hydrogen takes place for bromine, because bromine changes to hydrogen bromide, so it is called oxidizing agent. And hydrogen sulfide changes to sulfur, it is undergoing oxidation because removal of hydrogen takes place. So since hydrogen sulfide is undergoing oxidation, it changes to sulfur. So hydrogen sulfide is called reducing agent. I hope it is clear. Let us see the answers now. See, copper oxide is oxidizing agent and carbon is reducing agent. Aluminum is reducing agent and iron oxide is oxidizing agent. Similarly, bromine is oxidizing agent and hydrogen sulfide is reducing agent. I hope it is clear. So, like these questions you will get in the examination for competitive exams. So, be careful. Again, I'm repeating the definition. The substance which is undergoing oxidation, the substance which is undergoing oxidation is called, the substance which is undergoing oxidation is called as reducing agent, and substance which is undergoing reduction is called as oxidizing agent. So copper oxide changes to copper. It means removal of oxygen takes place. So it is undergoing reduction and it is called as oxidizing agent. And carbon is undergoing oxidation, so it is called as reducing agent. So on the whole, what is the thing? The substance which is undergoing oxidation is called reducing agent, and substance which is undergoing reduction is called oxidizing agent. I hope it is clear. Let us see. Now, competitive nature of redox reactions. When zinc metal is placed in copper sulfate solution, the following reaction takes place. Zinc plus copper ions change to zinc ions plus copper. Similarly, when copper metal is placed in zinc sulfate, no reaction takes place. If copper metal is placed in silver nitrate solution, the following reaction takes place. 2Ag plus Cu gives us 2Ag plus Cu plus 2. So what is happening here? Let us see now. Zinc can displace copper from its salt solution, but copper cannot displace zinc from its salt solution. Means the same reaction does not take place. What is that reaction? The first reaction takes place here. Zinc can change its copper ions to zinc ions plus copper, but copper cannot change its zinc ions to zinc plus copper ions. It is not possible. This reaction does not take place because copper cannot displace zinc from its salt solution, because copper cannot bring reduction to zinc. Here, gaining of electrons, zinc changes to. So copper cannot bring reduction to zinc, but zinc can bring reduction to copper. So if copper metal is placed in silver nitrate solution, it can displace silver. It can displace silver. Copper can displace silver from its salt solution from its solution, but silver cannot displace copper from its solution. So this theory we'll discuss later now. And what is this happening here? I'll tell you. In the presence of copper ions, zinc loses electron and get oxidized, whereas in the presence of silver ions, copper loses electrons and get oxidized. So the relative tendency of getting oxidized is zinc greater than copper greater than silver. So this is the competitive nature of redox reactions. We'll discuss more in this concept in electrochemistry, which is going to come in 12th class. So, but here, simple thing is, in presence of copper ions, zinc loses electrons and get oxidized. Whereas in the presence of silver ions, copper loses electron and get oxidized. Whereas in the presence of zinc, copper cannot lose electrons; it can gain electrons only. So that's why this theory is taking place. I hope it is clear. Next, let us discuss now next concept in this chapter. Very very important. This chapter is very very small, but all the top points are very important because if you know this chapter, then only you can do entire chemistry easily. Otherwise, you will not understand some chapters. So that's why listen carefully. Now, next question. What is oxidation number? Very, very important. Oxidation number. Here, this is a new, it is nothing but what oxidation number is nothing but it's a modern form of valency, which we have discussed in modern form of valency, which we have discussed this valency topic. What is valency? What is valency? The number of valence electrons in an atom is called its valency. In presence, in the case of metals, it is equal to valency. In case of non-metals, 8 minus the number of valence electron. This concept we have learned in chemical bonding. So it is nothing but modern form of valency. It is more accurate than valency. So what is oxidation number? Oxidation number is the apparent charge possessed by an atom in a molecule. The charge possessed by an atom in a molecule is called its oxidation number. The apparent charge is obtained by hypothetically removing all other atoms from the molecule by breaking the bonds and retaining the pairs of electrons with the more electronegative atom. With the more electronegative atom. So definition wise, it is easy. Application wise also is easy. So the apparent charge is obtained by hypothetically removing all other atoms from the molecule by breaking the bonds and retaining the pairs of electrons with more electronegative atom. For example, let us see HCl, H plus and Cl minus. So here the oxidation number of hydrogen is +1 and the oxidation number of chlorine is -1. So like this, we have to break up the molecule by breaking the bonds and retaining the pairs of electrons with more electronegative atom. So HCl, the oxidation number of hydrogen is +1 and chlorine is -1. So this is called oxidation state or oxidation number. Oxidation state or oxidation number is same. Oxidation state or oxidation number is one and same. So I hope it is clear. So what is oxidation state or oxidation number? It is the apparent charge possessed by a atom in a molecule. The charge possessed by an atom in a molecule is called oxidation number or oxidation state. This is also called as oxidation state. Now, these rules are very, very important because oxidation number calculation is most important in 11th class as well as in 12th class. So if you don't know these rules, if you don't understand, you cannot write the oxidation number. First, what is the first rule? The oxidation number of an atom in a pure elemental form is always zero. Very, very important. The oxidation number of an atom in a pure elemental form, for example, hydrogen molecule, oxidation state is zero. Chlorine molecule, oxidation state is zero. Oxygen molecule, oxidation state is zero. Sodium atom, oxidation state is zero. Magnesium atom, oxidation state is zero. So the oxidation number of an atom in a pure elemental form is always zero. This is the first rule. So oxidation number of hydrogen, chlorine, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, zinc, etc. Metals as well as non-metals in their pure elemental form is always zero. The oxidation number of an atom in a monoatomic ion is equal to charge on the ion. For example, the oxidation state of Na plus is +1, Mg plus 2 is +2, monoatomic ion or diatomic ion. So it is monoatomic ion means single atom. Whatever the charge on the atom is called its oxidation number. So the oxidation number of sodium is in sodium ion is Na plus is +1, Mg plus 2 is +2, Al plus 3 is +3. So the oxidation number of fluorine is always -1. Very, very important point. The oxidation number of fluorine is always -1. Fluorine is F minus. It cannot become +1 or -1. I hope it is clear. Next. So first rule, second rule, and third rule we understood. The oxidation number of an atom in pure elemental form is always zero. Second rule, the oxidation number of an atom in a monoatomic ion is equal to the charge on the ion. So third rule, the oxidation number of fluorine is always -1. Next, the oxidation number of alkali metals, that is first group metals. First group metals, what you have? Sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and francium. So the alkali metals, that is nothing but what? Group 1. We have seen the periodic table. So the alkali metals, the oxidation number of alkali metals is always +1, and that of alkali earth metals is +2. That is group 2. So group 2 metals, that is magnesium, calcium, etc., strontium, barium. They are the oxidation number or oxidation state of these metals are always +2. So the oxidation number of alkali metals is always +1, and that of alkali earth metals is +2. Very, very important. This one is very important to understand. The oxidation number of oxygen in most of the compounds is -2. Oxidation number of oxygen in most of the compounds like aluminum oxide, magnesium oxide, whatever wherever oxygen is present, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, in almost all the compounds, in most of the compounds, the oxidation number of oxygen is always -2 because its valence is 2. But in peroxides, what are peroxides? Sodium peroxide, Na2O, hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. In peroxides, it is -1. It is -1. In peroxides and superoxides, potassium superoxide, KO2. So potassium superoxide, the oxygen state of oxygen is +1. Sorry, -1/2. -1/2. So -1/2 is the oxygen state of oxygen in superoxides, potassium superoxide, and so on. So the oxygen state of oxygen in peroxides and superoxides are respectively -1 and -1/2. I hope it is clear. Next, the oxidation number of hydrogen in most of the compounds is +1 only. Most of the compounds is when hydrogen combines with non-metals. When hydrogen combines with non-metals, the hydrogen oxygen state is always +1, mostly non-metals. The similar, but in metallic hydrates like sodium hydrate, calcium hydrate, etc., the oxygen state of hydrogen is -1. In sodium hydrate, hydrogen is -1 because sodium is +1. Calcium hydrate, calcium is +2, so hydrogen is -2. So it is -1 because two hydrogen atoms, 2 into -1. So the oxidation state of hydrogen in most of the compounds is +1, that is with non-metals, and the hydrogen state of the oxygen state of hydrogen with metals, active metals like sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium, etc., it is always equal to -1. I hope it is clear. So all these rules you have to remember while solving the problems for oxidation numbers. Next, in a molecule, very, very important. This rule is only most important because from this rule only we'll get all the oxidation numbers. What is this? In a molecule, the sum of oxidation numbers of all the elements should be 0. In polyatomic ion, the sum of the oxidation number for all the atoms is equal to the charge on the ion, polyatomic ion. So, like this. So, the sum of oxidation number, for example, if we take polyatomic cyanide ion, so the sum of the oxygen state is -1 because the charge is equal to charge. Similarly, ammonium ion, NH4, it is NH4 plus, the oxygen state is +1. So, oxidation number for all the elements is 0. So, based on this, for example, if we take any molecule, HCl, the sum of all the oxygen states is equal to 0 because it is +1 as well as -1. +1 and add, if you add +1 and -1, it is equal to 0. So in a molecule, the sum of oxidation numbers of all the elements is always 0. In a polyatomic ion, the sum of the oxygen states of all the atoms is equal to charge on the ion. So like this you'll get. I hope it is clear. Next. Now let us solve some oxygen states. Calculate the oxidation number of chromium in potassium dichromate. Potassium chromate. So this is called potassium chromate. Now we are applying this first rule. First rule, how to solve this. So oxygen state of potassium. The oxygen state of group 1 alkali metals is always +1. So it is +1 into 2 plus the sum of oxygen states of all the elements in a molecule is 0. Let us say chromium, we don't know the atomic number of chromium. So oxygen state of chromium, because we are going to find that. The one which we are going to find should be taken as X. So this is called chromium. Next, oxygen we know plus. Why are writing plus here? Because the sum of all the oxygen states of the elements in a molecule is always equal to 0. So plus X plus oxygen, you know, most of the compounds oxygen is -2. Here it is no peroxide, so -2 into 4. -2 into 4 is equal to 0. So we have +1 into 2 is 2 plus X minus 8 is equal to 0. So X implies X is equal to +6. Provided if there are no peroxy bonds. If there are peroxy bonds, the answers will be different. Different. So if you don't know the structure, if you know the structure, it is more important. Anyway, we are going to discuss the structures of these compounds in 12th class. So by the end of 12th class, you'll be knowing all these things. So based on structure, also you can write the oxygen states. So first rule, what is that? The sum of the oxygen states of all the elements in a molecule is equal to 0. So taking that rule into consideration, I have taken first the oxygen state of potassium. It is belonging to first group. So alkali metal. So the alkali metal always the oxygen state of the metals is in group 1 is +1. We have seen that rule in our oxygen number. So +1 into 2. Similarly, the one which you are going to find, that is chromium, we have to find in this. So that is taken as X. And oxygen, since oxygen, the oxygen state of oxygen in most of the compounds is -2. So -2 into 4 is equal to 0. So 2 plus X minus 8 is equal to 0, and plus X is equal to +6. I hope it is clear. Let us see the answer now. So it is +6. Understood now? Very, very important. Calculation of oxygen states is very, very important. We'll discuss more about this in next class. Calculate the oxidation number of phosphorus in H3PO3. Same formula, H3PO3. Since the oxygen state of hydrogen is +1 when it combines with non-metals, because phosphorus is non-metal and oxygen is also non-metal. So oxygen state of hydrogen is +1. So +1 into how many hydrogens are there? 3 hydrogens. +1 into 3 plus phosphorus. We have to find phosphorus only. The one which we are going to find is taken as X plus oxygen. Each oxygen is -2 into, because oxygen state of oxygen, most of the compounds is -2. So it is 6. So now is equal to 0. Now from this you can find out X, like algebraic expression. 3 plus X minus 6 is equal to 0. Implies P is equal to oxygen state of X is equal to how much it is? -3, because it is +3, sorry. Hydrogen is equal to +3. Because 6 going that side, it becomes +6. 3 minus 6 minus X minus 3 is equal to 0. So X is equal to +3. So answer is +3. I hope it is clear. Let us see the answer now. So it is +3. Understood now? Clearly, the sum of all the oxidation states of all the elements, the sum of the oxidation states of all the elements in a molecule is equal to 0. That is the basic rule. From that rule, we are going to find out all the numbers. So hydrogen, most of the compounds, in most of the compounds, that is when hydrogen combined with non-metals, it is taken as +1. And oxygen is, in most of the oxides, it is -2. In case of peroxides only, it is -1. And superoxide, it is -1/2. Next, calculate the oxidation number of chlorine in HClO4. So it's very, very easy, important also. Since hydrogen is coming with chlorine, it is +1. So +1 in only one hydrogen plus chlorine we have to find. So it is taken as X. And because the number of oxidation number of chlorine, so chlorine is taken as X plus how many oxygens? 4 oxygens, and each oxygen is -2. So -2 into 4 is equal to 0. So 1 plus X minus 8 is equal to 0, implies X minus 7 is equal to 0, implies X is equal to +7. So even though chlorine is negative, in some of the compounds it is +7. That's why I told you valency is only fixed one, but oxygen state is modern way of valency. It can be anything. So that's why the more accurate way of finding the valency of an element in a compound is nothing but by using oxidation number only. I hope it is clear. So the oxidation number of chlorine HClO4 is +7. Let us see the answer now. It is +7. Clear? Next question. Calculate the oxidation number of sulfur in SO3 2 minus. In polyatomic ion, the sum of all the oxygen states is equal to charge on the ion. So based on that, so what is that rule? In polyatomic ions, in polyatomic means here one sulfur and 3 oxygen. So it is polyatomic ion. the sum of the oxygen state of all the elements is equal to charge on the ion. So how we will take it as calculate oxygen state of sulfur. Sulfur is taken as X plus oxygen is each oxygen is -2 into how many oxygens? It is 3 is equal to -2 because it is equal to not 0. The in a polyatomic ion, the sum of the oxygen states of an atom is equal to sum of oxygen states of the molecule of the polyatomic ion is equal to its charge. Its charge. Its charge is how much? It is given -2. So I kept it in -2. So x minus 6 plus into minus becomes minus. So x minus 6 is equal to -2 implies x is equal to -2 plus 6. It is equal to +4. So answer is +4. Let us check the answer now. So it is equal to +4. I hope it is clear. So the sum of the oxygen states of all the elements in a polyatomic ion is equal to the charge on the ion. So the charge on the ion is equal to -2. So x plus -2 into 3 is equal to -2. So x minus is equal to 6 is equal to -2. So implies x is equal to +4. I hope it is clear. Next question. Calculate the oxidation number of chromium in Cr2O7 2 minus chromium in Cr2O7. Again, here the ion is given polyatomic ion. So in case of polyatomic ions, the sum of oxygen states. So here chromium, here 2x because two chromiums are there. So the one which you are going to find should be kept it as x. So since two chromiums are there, I have kept it here 2x plus oxygen. Each oxygen is -2. So -2 into how many oxygens? 7 oxygens plus x -2 into 7 is equal to -2, not 0, -2. Please note it. -2. Why? Because the sum of all the oxygen states of the elements in a polyatomic ion is always equal to the charge on the ion. The charge on the ion is -2. So I have kept it here -2. So 2x minus 14 because plus into minus is minus 2x minus 14 is equal to -2 implies 2x is equal to -2 plus 14 is equal to 12 implies x is equal to plus 6 because x is equal to 12 by 2 it is equal to 6. I hope it is clear. Let us see the answer now. So it is plus 6. I hope everything is clear. So you have to apply the oxygen state rules and find out the oxidation number. Next, calculate the oxidation state of platinum in K2P2Cl6. So here potassium, dipotassium, platinum hexachloride, dipotassium, platinum hexachloride. So here it is nothing but what? Potassium. Already we know the oxygen state of potassium and we know the oxygen state of chlorine. Now we have to find out platinum. So the one which we are going to find should be kept as X. So 2 plus, because it is potassium is +1. So I'll write again clearly so that we'll avoid confusion. Since potassium is +1 into 2 because two potassiums are there plus next platinum we have to find that only plus chlorine is -1 into how many chlorines are there 6 so is equal to 0. So here 2 plus x minus 6 is equal to 0 implies x is equal to +4. So oxygen state of platinum is +4. I hope it is clear. Let us check the answer. So it is +4. Understood now? So we have to find oxygen states like this. Next example. Calculate the oxidation number of carbon in C12H22O11. C12H22O11. Very, very easy. It's the biggest molecule, but here, since carbons are 12 and we need to find the oxygen state of carbon, we have to write 12x plus hydrogen. Since hydrogen is combined with carbon and oxygen, so it is taken as +1. Oxygen state of hydrogen is +1 because it is when hydrogen is combined with non-metals, its oxygen state is +1. So +1 into how many hydrogens are there? 22 hydrogens. So 22 plus oxygen's 11. So oxygen state is -2 into how many? 11 is equal to 0. So 12x plus 22 minus 22 because 11 to 22 is equal to 0 implies 12x is equal to 22 minus 22 0. So x is equal to 0. So by this you can say oxygen state of carbon is 0 in C12H22O11. Let us check the answer. 0, because 12x plus 22 minus 22 gets cancelled. It is equal to 0. So 12x is equal to 0. Simply x is equal to 0 by 12. 0 by anything is 0. I hope it is clear. So it doesn't mean that in all the states carbon oxygen state is 0. It can be 2, 4, etc., etc., depending on the compound. I hope it is clear. So oxygen state of an element is not fixed like valency. So that's why oxidation number is more refinery method of calculating valency. Now oxidation and reduction based on oxidation number. Oxidation is a process where the oxidation number of an element increases. Always in oxidation, the oxidation number of an element increases. Very, very important point. Reduction is a process where the oxidation number of an element decreases. Reduction is a process where the oxidation number of an element is decreasing. A substance is said to be oxidizing agent if the oxidation number of the element substances decreases. So the one which is undergoing reduction is called oxidizing agent, and the one which is undergoing oxidation is called reducing agent. So a substance is said to be a reducing agent if the oxidation number of the element in the substance increases. So the one which is undergoing oxidation is called reducing agent. The one which is undergoing reduction is called oxidizing agent. What is oxidation and reduction in a redox reaction? Oxidation is a process where the oxidation number of an element increases, and reduction is a process where the oxidation number of an element decreases. For example, let us see zinc plus copper ions changes to zinc ion plus copper. So if you see here, zinc, what is the oxidation state of zinc in its elemental form? It is always equal to 0. Zinc is changing from 0 to plus 2. Zinc is changing from 0 to plus 2. Increase in oxidation number. Increase in oxidation number. Since copper changing from 0 plus to 0, decrease in oxidation number. So zinc is undergoing oxidation and copper is undergoing reduction. So the one which is undergoing reduction substance is said to be reducing agent if the oxidation number of the element in the substance increases. So here zinc is called reducing agent and copper ions is called oxidizing agent. Copper ion is called oxidizing agent and zinc is called reducing agent. Zinc reducing agent, copper ion is oxidizing agent, because for copper ion decrease in oxidation number takes place if the oxidation number of the element decreases. And for zinc, it is increase in oxidation number because it changes from 0 to plus 2, 0 to plus 2. So increase in oxidation number changes from 0 to plus 2. So it is called what? Reducing agent. Zinc is reducing agent because the oxidation number of the element in the substance increases, and copper ions is called oxidizing agent because the oxygen state of the number of the element, that is ion, in the substance decreases. I hope it is clear. This is the definition of oxidation and reduction in terms of oxidation numbers. Stock notation. The oxidation numbers of an element in the compound are represented in Roman numerals in brackets. This is another rule. This type of notation is also known as stock notation. The compound of auric chloride, gold is represented in plus 3 state. So that's why the oxygen state or the oxidation number is represented in Roman numerals. Au3 chloride. The stock notations of stannous and stannic chlorides are Sn plus 2 state and Sn plus 4 state respectively. So this is nothing but what? Stock notation. One more important rule I want to tell you. The oxygen state, this rule also important, we have not given, forgot to give in the PPT. So please note it down in your classwork. The oxygen state of metal, the oxygen state of metal in amalgams is 0. Example, amalgam means metal with mercury. Metal with mercury. Sodium amalgam. The oxygen state of sodium in mercury, sodium amalgam is 0, comma. Zinc amalgam, ZnHg. The oxygen state of zinc is 0. This also they'll ask in competitive exam. So with metal and amalgams, it is always 0. So oxygen state of metal in amalgam is always 0. And also one more important point. The oxygen state, the oxidation state of the metal These two rules you please add it. In metal carbonyl compounds, in metal carbonyl compounds, sorry, carbonyl compounds is always zero. So for example, nickel carbonyl compound NaCO taken 4 times, carbonyl, nickel carbonyl compound, oxygen state of nickel is zero. Iron carbonyl compound FeCO taken 4 times, 5 times, so it is also zero. So the oxygen state of the metal in metal carbonyl compounds is always zero, and the oxygen state of metal in amalgams is always zero. Please note down these two rules for additional rules for oxidation. I hope it is clear. So, from this session, in this session, in this second PPTs, we have done how to calculate oxidation state or oxidation number. Oxidation state or oxidation number is the one and the same. So, oxidation number, how to find out. I have given some examples also and some rules. And how to represent for metals, we have to represent the oxidation state of metals in Roman numerals, Roman numericals. I hope it is under Roman numerals. I hope it is clear. Next. So next topic in this chapter we're going to discuss now. Types of redox reactions. So types of redox reactions. There are 4 types of redox reactions: combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, and disproportionation reaction. So combination reactions, decomposition reactions, displacement reactions, and disproportionation reaction. Fourth one is most important. They'll ask in the exam. Fourth one is very, very important. So let us see now what are the combination reactions and so on. A combination reaction is a reaction in which the element combines to form products. For example, in a reaction of type A plus B gives rise to products. Either of A or B or both A and B must be in elemental nature. So examples, magnesium on reaction with oxygen forms magnesium oxide. So for this type of reaction, both A and B should, either of A or B should be in elemental nature. So magnesium nitrate. So magnesium oxygen state of magnesium is zero, nitrogen is also zero because they are in elemental form and forms magnesium nitrate, that is +2 and +3, +2 and -2. So how can we say here redox reaction? Why it is redox reaction? Only you can think it is oxidation, but here nothing. Magnesium is changed from 0 to +2. So increase in oxidation number, it is called as oxidation, and oxygen changing from 0 to -2. So decrease in oxidation number, it is called reduction. So magnesium is undergoing oxidation and oxygen is undergoing reduction. So oxygen is undergoing reduction. Why? Because it changes from 0 to -2. Decrease in oxidation number is always reduction. Increase in oxidation number is always oxidation. Similarly, magnesium here again, magnesium changes from 0 to +2 oxidation. Nitrogen changes from 0 to -3, it is reduction. So I hope it is clear. Hence, it is called as redox reaction and is a redox reaction of the type combination reaction. What is a combination reaction? Two elements combine to form a single compound. So this is called as combination reaction. So here magnesium and oxygen forms magnesium oxide, magnesium and nitrogen forms magnesium nitride, magnesium nitride. So magnesium and nitrogen combines to form magnesium nitrate, hence it is a combination reaction. And magnesium from 0, the oxygen state of magnesium in the reactant side is 0, whereas in the product side it is +2. It means magnesium is changing from 0 to +2. It is nothing but increase in oxidation number, and nitrogen is changing from 0 to -3. It is nothing but decrease in oxidation number. So it is called reduction and it is called oxidation. As simultaneously oxidation and reduction takes place for two elements in the reaction, we can say it is called a redox reaction. Hence it is called what? Redox reaction. I hope it is clear. Next. It's very easy to understand this chapter, but no confusion. Next, what is decomposition redox reaction? A compound decomposes to form products, and at least one of the products must be elemental. Then only it can form decomposition. So decomposition reactions is opposite of combination reaction. Means one single molecule changes to two different elements or molecules. So that's why it is called decomposition reaction. For example, here you can see water. In water, the oxygen state of hydrogen is how much? +1, because oxygen and hydrogen. Hydrogen changes from +1 to 0. It is nothing but decrease, reduction, because +1 changes to 0. And oxygen, here in this case, -2 to 0, it is increase in oxidation number, because -2 changes to 0. So it is increase in oxidation number. So it is called oxidation. So here oxygen is undergoing oxidation and hydrogen is undergoing reduction. Hence it is called as a redox reaction, and it is an example for decomposition redox reaction. Decomposition redox reaction. Decomposition redox reactions. If there is no change in the oxygen state of the element, it is not a redox reaction. It is not a redox reaction. That is also very important. That's why double displacement reactions are not redox reaction. Double displacement reactions, very important. Double displacement reactions. This also they'll ask in exam. Which of the following is not a redox reaction? Double displacement reaction is not a redox reaction. Very, very important statement. Double displacement reaction is not a redox reaction because there is no change in the oxygen state of the elements participating in the chemical reaction. I hope it is clear. Let us see now. Next one. Displacement. In a displacement reaction, an atom of ion is replaced by another atom of ion. There are two types of displacement reactions, metal displacement and non-metal displacement reaction. So if a metal is displacement reaction, so for example, you can see here, metal displacement reaction. So zinc displaces copper from its salts, copper sulfate solution. Here zinc combines with copper sulfate and forms zinc sulfate plus copper. You can see the oxygen state of zinc is 0 and is changing to +2. And the oxygen state of copper is +2, it is changing to 0. So here it is a redox reaction, and it is also called as displacement reaction. And this displacement reaction is called as metal displacement reaction. What is it? Is called metal displacement reaction. Next, chromium is displaced by aluminum from chromic oxide. So chromium oxide on reaction with aluminum, oxygen state of aluminum is 0. So oxygen is being displaced here. And so it is nothing but what? Non-metal displacement reaction, because oxygen is combining with metal. So we can call it as non-metal displacement reaction. So non-metal oxide, that is aluminum oxide plus chromium. So chromium is changing from +3 to 0, it is undergoing reduction, and aluminum is changing from 0 to +3, it is undergoing oxidation. So chromium is undergoing reduction and aluminum is undergoing oxidation. There is no change in oxygen. You can see as sulfate ions also, there is no change in oxygen state. So that's why we didn't say the first reaction. Zinc is undergoing oxidation and copper sulfate is undergoing reduction. Similarly, chromium oxide is undergoing oxidation, reduction, and aluminum is undergoing oxidation. I hope it is clear. Very, very important. Next, non-metal displacement. In these reactions, a non-metal is displaced by a metal or another metal. These reactions include hydrogen displacement and halogen displacement reactions. These reactions include what? Hydrogen displacement and halogen displacement reactions. Let us see the examples. So sodium on reaction with water, it forms sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. So alkali metals which are very active can displace hydrogen from water itself. These reactions already we know. So sodium atomic number, oxygen state of sodium is 0, changes to +1 because it is forming sodium hydroxide. Oxygen state of hydrogen is +1 and is forming 0. It is decreasing oxygen state since it is nothing but non-metal displacement reactions. Non-metal displacement, because non-metal is coming out. The one which is coming out is called as non-metal displacement. If the metal is coming out, we will call it as metal displacement. If the non-metal is coming out, it will call it as non-metal displacement. In the previous slides, I have shown you metal displacement. That is, zinc is copper is displacing, and chromium is displacing, etc. And here hydrogen is coming out, and hydrogen is coming out. We call it as non-metal displacement reaction. So alkali metals which are very active can displace hydrogen from water itself. So it is called an example of non-metal displacement. Non-metal displacement because hydrogen is displaced and hydrogen is displaced. Less active metals like magnesium, zinc, iron, aluminum also reacts with dilute acids to form hydrogen gas. So the reaction between metals and dilute acids to liberate hydrogen gas is used in the laboratory preparation to produce hydrogen gas. So all these points are important, easy to understand. Halogen displacement. In the halogen displacement reactions, one halogen displaces the other. This depends on the oxidizing power of halogen atoms. The oxidizing power of halogen atoms is in the order, very important. This order they'll ask in examination. Fluorine is greater than chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So fluorine can displace all other halogens from aqueous solution of halides, while iodine can not displace any other halogens because its oxidizing power is low. Next example: fluorine on reaction two molecules of potassium chloride forms chlorine plus potassium fluoride because fluorine is displacing chlorine. Chlorine is displacing bromine. Bromine is displacing iodine. So this is called non-metal displacement reactions. Chlorine on reaction with iodine. Chlorine can displace bromine as well as iodine. Fluorine can displace chlorine, bromine as well as iodine. I hope it's clear. The oxygen state of fluorine is zero. Fluorine atom is individual molecule is zero. So it is -1 here, -1, -1, -1. I hope it is clear. So here we have mentioned oxygen states also for your understanding. Easily you can understand. So here fluorine is undergoing what? Is decreasing oxidation number, reduction, oxidation, and potassium chloride is undergoing, chlorine is undergoing what? It is increasing oxidation number, reduction. So chlorine is undergoing -1 to 0, oxidation, and here 0 to -1. So decrease in oxidation number, nothing but what? Reduction. I hope it is clear. Next. So this is called non-metal displacement redox reaction. Non-metal displacement redox reaction. Can fluorine displace oxygen? Fluorine can displace even oxygen from water because fluorine is most electronegative element and most powerful oxidizing agent. So fluorine can displace oxygen also from water. So displacement of chlorine, bromine, and iodine by fluorine is not carried out in aqueous medium. Even it can displace oxygen also. That's why we are not taking it in aqueous medium. I hope it is clear. Next, very, very important. What is disproportionation reaction? Disproportionation reaction, they'll ask in the exam. These are the reactions in which the same element, remember this same element undergo both reduction as well as oxidation reactions. The same element is undergoing oxidation as well as reduction. It is called as, that is why it is called as disproportionation reaction. Example, decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, you can see here. Oxygen state of hydrogen, oxygen is -1 here in hydrogen peroxide because hydrogen is +1. So +2, -2, 0. Because in hydrogen peroxide it contains peroxide. In peroxide, the oxygen state of oxygen is -1. So -1 and +1. And here it changes to water. The oxygen state of oxygen in water is how much? -2. And oxygen, it is 0. So oxygen is changing from -1 to -2. The same oxygen is changing from -1 to 0. So here oxygen is changing from -1 to -2. That is decrease in oxidation number. It is nothing but reduction. See, the oxygen, same oxygen state is changing from -1 to 0. Increase in oxidation, it is called oxidation. So for the simultaneously for the same element, both for the oxygen only, both oxidation and reduction takes place. Hence it is called as disproportionation reaction. Here oxygen -1 changes to -2 in this compound, and oxygen -1 changes to 0 in this compound. So in this molecule. So for the same oxygen, we are showing the oxygen in three different patterns, that is -1, -2, and 0. So -1 to -2, it is in decrease in oxidation number, it is called reduction. And -1 to 0, it is increase in oxidation number, it is called oxidation. Next, let us see example. Chlorine. Chlorine on reaction sodium hydroxide. Chlorine atomic number molecular, so oxygen state of chlorine is 0 because it is in the elemental form. So the molecular form of chlorine, so it is 0, and it changes to sodium chloride, NaClO3 plus NaCl plus H2O. So chlorine is changing from 0 to +1. So it is increase in oxidation number, increase in oxidation number, and chlorine changes to -1, decrease in oxidation number. So decrease in oxidation number. So for the same chlorine is changing from 0 to +1 and 0 to -1. Hence it is called as disproportionation reaction. What is disproportionation reaction? These are the reactions in which the same element undergoes both reduction as well as oxidation reactions. So next, reaction of phosphorus with alkali to form phosphine. So here phosphorus, elemental phosphorus 0 changes to -3 in phosphine, and it is changed to +1 in sodium hydrogen phosphate. So 0 to -3, decrease, reduction, and 0 to +1, it is increase, oxidation. So this is called disproportionation reaction. So if in a reaction, if the same element undergoing both reduction as well as oxidation, it is called as disproportionation reaction. How can you say whether it is undergoing reduction or oxidation? By seeing the oxidation state. If the same element is undergoing oxidation as well as reduction, as oxidation as well as reduction is called as disproportionation reaction. So here a hydro oxygen -1 state to -2 and also 0. So -1 to -2, it is reduction because decrease in oxidation number, and -1 to 0, it is increase in oxidation number, it is called oxidation. Similarly, chlorine 0 to +1, oxidation, and chlorine 0 to -1, reduction. And phosphorus 0 to -3, reduction, and 0 to +1, oxidation. So from phosphorus to phosphine, it is undergoing what? Reduction. From phosphorus to sodium hydrogen phosphate, it is undergoing oxidation. So I hope it is clear. So this is called disproportionation reaction. They'll ask definitely this question in the examination, competitive exams. So please remember this definition and try to identify. So how to identify whether it is disproportionation? It is nothing but we have to see the element, one element in that reaction, at least one element should undergo both reduction as well as oxidation. I hope it is clear. Next. Which are the following ions do not show disproportionation reaction? Let us see ClO minus. What is the oxygen state of chlorine in ClO minus? ClO2 minus, ClO3 minus, ClO4 minus. So how can we say whether they will not show disproportionation reaction? ClO4 minus, because in this O minus, O2 minus, O3 minus, oxygen has peroxide, whereas here there is no peroxy bonds. So that's why ClO4 minus cannot show disproportionation reaction because the oxygen state of oxygen is only -2 and chlorine is +7. Next question. Which of the following reactions is not a disproportionation reaction? See, sodium is undergoing reaction, chlorine combines to form sodium chloride. Here oxygen state of sodium is what? 0, and here it is +1. And chlorine 0, it is -1. So it is nothing but not a disproportionation reaction. Now, cuprous chloride, copper oxygen state is 0, and copper oxygen, sorry, here it is 2Cl, no? Just typing it, sorry. Oxygen state of copper is +1, and Cl is -1, and copper is 0, as well as copper it is equal to +2. So copper +1 changes to 0, and copper +1 changes to +2. It is nothing but what? Disproportionation reaction. So this is disproportionation, not disproportion. Let us see next one. Nitrogen dioxide plus sodium hydroxide forms NaNO2 plus NaNO3 plus H2O. What is the oxygen state of nitrogen here? +4. Oxygen, nitrogen. Yes, +4. And sodium it is +1. And sodium it is +1. Nitrogen it is +4. Sorry, +3. So here it is changing because in this reaction. So it is disproportionation, already I have shown you. This is not a disproportionation. And in this nitrogen is forming two compounds. So here, if you see the oxygen state of nitrogen, it is +4 here. And nitrogen here +1, and it is -4, it should be +3. And here, see how I have calculated sodium nitrite, NaNO2. Let us take sodium is +1, nitrogen X -4 is equal to 0. It means because oxygen is -2. So oxygen X -3 is equal to 0 implies X is equal to 3. So oxygen state of nitrogen in sodium nitrate is 3, and in sodium nitrate NaNO3 it is equal to 5. So let us see, it is +1. So 1 plus X -6 is equal to 0 because 3 oxygens. So X is equal to +5. So it is equal to +5. So it is +4 change to +5, increase in oxidation number, and +4 change to +3, decrease in oxidation number. Hence, it is a disproportionation reaction. Next, copper nitrate, copper oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. Here, nitrogen is forming only one compound, and so it is not a disproportionation reaction. So we have to see that the element should form two different compounds. For disproportionate reaction, the same element should form two different compounds. For example, if you see cuprous chloride, copper plus Cl2. So copper is appearing in two of the products, and nitrogen is appearing in two products. And here copper is not appearing in two products, only one product. So here sodium is also one product. So these two are disproportion. Let us see now answer. B and C. As I told you, B and C. Because in B, what happens? Copper 0 changes to 0. So here it is very important. Here it is +1, change to 0, and here it is changes to +2. So +1 changes to +2, increase in oxidation number, +1 changes to 0, decrease in oxidation number. For the same element, undergoing oxidation as well as reduction. So it is called a disproportionation reaction. I hope it is clear. All these examples are very, very important. So with this, I'm ending this class. So I hope you understood clearly. Very, very important, all the topics. So more about redox reactions we'll discuss in the next session. Thank you all.